This is the ACC SportsBook powered by the TAB.
The ACC SportsBook, thanks to the TAB.
I think I failed to mention the date there. It's the 21st of August. It's a Thursday, and it's myself, Finn Caddie, coming in off the bench this week. G-Lane is unfortunately away for the foreseeable, but as it stands, it's going to be me, and it's going to be Paul Maoate. Paul, how are you this morning, mate?
Yeah, good, Finn. How are you? It's a big weekend.
Jeez, mate, hell of a weekend coming up, so we might as well just crank straight into things. But first, shall we have a look at maybe some successes from last week? Is that the place to start?
Yeah, why don't we do that? And there are a couple of very, very nice same-game multis that got up in the NRL.
Okay.
And if you're gonna pick a game, you want a game that's going to be high scoring. And these two punters picked a couple of very, very high scoring games. The first one was a 6-leg same-game multi from that Sharks Gold Coast Titans matchup.
Right.
He had Ronaldo Mulitalo, Jalen de Groot, Philip Sami, Braden Trindle, Will Kennedy, and Nico Hines, all to score tries. That came out at around $409. He put 15 on and got around just over 6K back. So just 6 try scorers. That's all you had to do.
Mate,
and you look back at it, you think, well, that's pretty easy, isn't it?
It does feel like that. This is the part of the show where I always go, geez, where have I been? What am I missing? Because I feel like punters at the moment are actually identifying the games that are going to be high scoring, and a lot of the money that people are winning at the moment are coming off those try scoring multis.
Yep, they are flying. And another game that was fairly high scoring, well, at least for one side, was the North Queensland Cowboys game up against the Newcastle Knights.
Yeah.
This was a 5-legger, and this punter picked Scott Drinkwater.
Yep.
That was he. Jeremiah Nanai. Yeah. North Queensland Cowboys to win the first half. Dominic Young, who scored the only try for the Newcastle Knights.
Yep.
And the North Queensland Cowboys to win by 13 or more in the second half. That came out at around $62. And this punter put $300 on and picked up, what was that? Is that about 18K, I think?
Holy shit. There you go. That wasn't Carl Tolley, was it? That put that bet on.
Maybe it was a Carl Tolley and a G-Lane sort of bet that they put together. That's why we don't see these two today.
That's right, because they hate the Knights. That's actually, that there's a theory there. That's a conspiracy that those boys have won 18 grand between them and have set out on some kind of boys trip. So are they the two biggies from the weekend just gone by?
They were the two biggies, but there were plenty of multis across the sort of the spectrum, the NRL, the Rugby Championship, the NPC is getting very, very popular as well. So, yeah, plenty of opportunities to make a wee bit of money.
All right, let's move on to the future then. What's coming up this weekend? Shall we start with maybe some Waz?
Yeah, let's start with the NRL. And why don't we go to Mudgee first, where the Panthers are going to be taking on the Raiders.
Sweet.
This is a top 5 matchup. The Panthers, who are only 1 point behind the Waz, who are in 4th place, and the Raiders, who are up at the top of the table. Panthers are $1.62, the Raiders $2.30. The line is 3.5. The total set at 40.5. At the moment, 70% of turnover on that head-to-head market is on the Raiders to upset the Panthers, and 66% of the action is on the Raiders to cover the line. So the Raiders plus 3.5 is getting a lot of action as well. In terms of try scorers, Brian To'o has been very, very popular in the first try scorer market. And then Casey McLean, or Greedy Boy, as we call him here, he's holding 66% of turnover in the anytime try scorer market, and he is very, very popular in same game multis. So, yeah, plenty of action around that Panthers-Raiders game, which will have permutations for the Waz, depending on the result.
Yeah, I did have a look at the odds on that game, and I did think to myself that there's some juicy numbers in there, because it seems that the bookies are not quite 100% sure on what way that's going to go. So, yeah, get behind that fixture. What else is going on in the NRL? Paul?
You brought up the Waz, and they travelled to the Gold Coast to take on the Titans. The Titans are outsiders at home after getting touched up by 50 points by the Sharks last weekend. They're $2.55, the Titans. The Waz, $1.53 after that very, very close victory at home over the Dragons last weekend. The line is 4.5. The total set at 48.5. 75% of money in that head-to-head market is on the Wars. The faithful have come back. I know they went a wee bit cool last week.
Yep.
They're back again after that win. They're back on the Wars. However, at the line, 85% of the action is on the Gold Coast plus 4.5. So, and they do have a very, very good recent record against the Warriors. And Philip Sammy, who's in some very, very hot try-scoring form, he's been the best back to score a try and is in over 50% of all same-game multis as we speak right now.
Love it. He might be coming up a little bit later on in our three-way as well, I believe. Paul, any more stuff on the NRL, mate, or should we move on to the Rugby Championship?
Should we go to the Rugby Championship? Because it got off to a great start last weekend, didn't it?
Yeah, she was a flyer.
It was, and it all started in Joburg, where this is one of the craziest games I've ever seen. The South Africans got out to a 22-0 lead.
In about 17 minutes as well, I think.
Yes, at Joburg.
It was ridiculous. I still haven't got my head around this game a week on.
It made no sense whatsoever. So it was 22-5 at halftime. At halftime, the Wallabies were paying $26.
Are you kidding me?
There must have been a few expats in New Zealand because we took a bit of money on the Wallabies at halftime to win at $26.
Is that right? Okay, there you go.
Yeah. And they actually got out to a high of $31 during that match. And there are a couple of nibbles at that as well. So just a crazy, crazy game. This week, South Africa are $1.25. The Wallabies are $3.80. The line is 12.5. Last week, I think it was 16.5, 17.5. So the bookies have sort of gone, oh, let's just pare back a wee bit because the Wallabies are a wee bit better. And they probably, you can argue, they had a better build-up to this rugby championship, having played the Lions 3 times, whereas South Africa, had a test or two against Georgia and Italy. Anyway, line is 12.5. The total set at 55.5. 60% of the head-to-head money is on South Africa to bounce back. 90% of the money is on the unders in this game. So they're not expecting as many tries this game, the market at the moment. But they're happy to take the Wallabies plus 12.5. Once again, they think that's just a wee bit too much, even though the bookies have sort of brought it in slightly from that first test match.
That makes sense to me, actually, Paul. I imagine the South Africans might be going back to basics in their world this weekend. They might be kind of, going back to that, the bomb squad, the front three, just pick and going, hard defence, and maybe not as high scoring as that last fixture. So Argentina are versing the All Blacks once again.
Yep, and we've got exactly the same odds as we do in the South Africa Wallabies test match. Argentina are $3.80. The All Blacks are $1.25. The line is 10.5 here. Of course, last week it was 8.5, but the performance that the All Blacks put on has sort of pushed the bookies to go a wee bit further. So All Blacks are 10.5-point favourites in this one, and the total is out at 57.5. 94% of turnover in the head-to-head market is on the All Blacks at $1.25. So there's a wee bit of a liability building up on the All Blacks to beat Argentina. We are struggling to sell a bet on Argentina plus 10.5. Almost every single bet is on the All Blacks minus 10.5. Really, I think the boys might have to adjust that market if that trend continues. And then once again, punters thinking this will be a lower scoring game. We won't get over 57.5, and 80% of the money is on under 57.5 in that test match. And they're also backing the All Blacks to win by 13 or more.
Interesting. Yeah, I actually thought that the result in the end was quite generous to the All Blacks. I thought the game was maybe slightly closer than what the score, identified it as at the end. So I can understand the bookies thinking around that one. So that is they're the only 2 games going on in the Rugby Championship. Of course they are. So shall we move on then to what do you want to talk about next?
A little promo on that Argentina All Blacks matchup. Place a 3 or more leg same game multi on that test match between Argentina and the All Blacks. And if you lose by 1 leg, get up to $50 in bonus cash back. So, if you're looking, once the teams are named and you can start betting on try scorers and things like that, I'm sure we'll get quite a few same-game multis running through that game.
Yeah, sweet. That's usually about Friday morning when the ABs announce their lineup, isn't it? Usually pretty close to kick off. Okay, so now moving on to the Tour Championship. Is that a place to go to next?
Why don't we? This is the wrap-up of the PGA Tour season. The Tour Championship Championship, only 30 players are invited, the top 30, and I can tell you, Scotty Scheffler is a very, very popular man. Apparently, he plays golf and he plays it bloody well.
Yeah.
He's the favourite at $2.75. Now, I don't know if you've followed the Tour Championship in previous seasons, but they used to have this convoluted system where the number 1 seed would start at 10 under, and then the number 2 seed would start at 8 under, and then they'd gradually go down through the field sort of thing. It was a horrible idea. One of the worst ideas, not just in golf, but in world sport. This is a proper tournament. Everyone starts at even par, and the winner is the one that has the best 4 rounds. So Scotty Scheffler is the favourite at $2.75.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a $4,500 bet on Scotty at $2.75, and we've taken around 60% of the turnover in that outright winner market for the Tour Championship on Scotty Scheffler. Outside of him, JJ Spawn, who won the US Open earlier this year, he's at $31 to win the Tour Championship. One punter's put $1,000 on JJ Spawn to return $31,000 if he does indeed win the championship.
Love it.
And outside of that, if you like to have a little go early on, then I can tell you the first round leader market, the best back player there, Tommy Fleetwood, who has been there or thereabouts in the last 4 or 5 weeks. He's been in a winning position a number of times and just hasn't been able to get over that final hurdle. But he usually starts very, very quickly. So I can understand why a number of punters are backing Tommy Fleetwood to be the first round leader.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Well said. Looking forward to getting stuck into that because, like you're saying, mate, that is now actually quite a good watch, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I like sport when it's played at a very, very high level, and that Tour Championship doesn't get too much higher when it comes to golf.
It's the all-star game of golf. Okay, moving on to the Premier League, mate. I'm stoked. I'm a footy fan, but I know a lot of the people that listen to this podcast may not be as much so as I am. So where are we at regarding the EPL?
Well, I would say there are a number of New Zealand punters who may not be EPL fans, but they're Chris Wood fans.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't we have a look at the Crystal Palace-Nottingham Forest game? Of course, Chris Wood started the season off how he sort of left last season.
Yep.
Picked up a double in that win for Nottingham Forest in round 1. So, and there are plenty of punters who backed him to score a goal or backed him to score 2 or more goals. So this week, Chris Wood, no surprises, he's very, very popular in same-game multis for him to score a goal. He's around $3.30 to score a goal, and he's $7 to be the first goal scorer in the match, which is what he did last weekend. So he'll be a pain for the bookies this season because anytime he's playing, he will be very, very well backed. You won't have to ask whether he's a poor result. He will be a poor result for the TAB every single time he plays. They're also backing Nottingham Forest, who have to travel to Crystal Palace and are outsiders for this game. That hasn't turned punters off. They don't care. They're backing Forest and they're backing Chris Wood to score at least 1 goal. Some are going even as far as to get another double.
Oh, I love it. There's actually a few rumours circling at the moment around Crystal Palace. They're in a bit of a sad state. A couple of their good players are looking at being traded out, so I understand that even though the odds seem to be a little bit more even than what the odds seem even in that game, but I think Forrest could make something happen. And again, the fact that he's just come out and scored 2 on the opening day of the season after a year he's had last year. Geez, he's so chronically underrated, Chris Wood, in terms of our sporting greats. Like, this guy is... He's playing Premier League football at the highest level and is currently leading after 1 game the Golden Boot. Okay, moving on from Premier League then.
Let's stay.
Okay, let's stay. Yeah, let's do it. I'm happy to stay.
I want to bring up something from last week where the bookies put out a special option, a 3-from-4 boost, where they bundled up Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, and Liverpool, put them all in a special little option.
Yes.
All you needed was 3 of those 4 teams to win. Any 3 of those 4 teams to win. Now, usually that would be $1.57.
Right.
The bookies boosted it out to $2.20, and 3 of those 4 teams did indeed win last weekend. I think it was Man City, Arsenal, who had a late goal against, Man U, and then Liverpool, all winning. So that paid out, and the bookies are doing it again this week. So they've got Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. All any three of those four teams to win, it would be $1.57. They've boosted it out to do $2.20. So you need three of either Chelsea to beat West Ham,
Yep.
Man City to beat Spurs,
Yep.
Arsenal to beat Leeds,
Yep.
or Liverpool to beat Newcastle. So, and I can tell you that option was very, very popular last week. I get the feeling it'll be even more popular this week after the results of last weekend.
Yep, I totally agree. So that wraps up the EPL chat, I think, for today. Shall we take a break and we'll come back in just a moment with Grab a Pen.
Pause the podcast now and grab a pen for the hottest tips from around the TAB office.
Right, I got my pen here, Paul. Hit me. What do I need to write down?
Or should we just have a little review of what happened last week?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
So last week, the Harness Sicko, he went to Addington, race 7, number 5, Triple G, finished third. So not quite the result we were looking for, but if you win each way, you got a wee bit of a return.
Yep.
Then we headed to Ruakaka, race 3, Age of Discovery. Once again, finished third. So you got a little bit of return if you went each way. And then race 4, Tuxedo, who was $2.50 when you recorded the podcast last week. Closed at around $1.30. So they came from it. And Tuxedo won as well. So those who jumped on, and I'm sure there'll be a few of the listeners out there who jumped on, well done to you guys. We then went to Rose Hill at race 1. Kingston Charm was scratched, so money back there. At race 4, Tuileries. Second last, so we'll move on from Tuileries.
Yeah,
and
just
then
slide past that one.
Captain Fural was 6, so no dice there, unfortunately. So this week, I've asked the boys to really sharpen the pencil, think hard about what they're going to give us.
Yeah,
and
cracking heads at you, Paul.
The Harness Sickos. Here we go. We're going to Addington, the last race of the night, race 11, number 1, Candy Cane, on debut, but has won both her trials, including beating Scrunch, who she takes on tonight, and in one of them, and she beat a subsequent race winner in the other trial. So that trial form is very, very good from Candy Cane. Paying around $2.80 to win, $1.26 for a top 3 finish.
Lovely. Get behind the rookie.
Yes, exactly. And then if you want, you can boost that price by adding in her stablemate. It's Tough to win race 3 at $1.50. So there you go. Candy Cane in race 11. And if you want to boost those odds up slightly, take her stablemate in race 3. It's Tough.
Sweet. And what about the thoroughbreds?
Thoroughbreds, I've tried to spray it around the tracks here for you lads. Harwitter, race 4, number 6, Popsicles, currently paying $3.20 and $1.45 top 3. She's a 4-year-old mare who comes into this off a couple of nice trials, including an impressive win at Avondale over 1,000 metres. We then head to Te Rapa, race 7, number 9, Twain, $3.50 and $1.60 top 3. He's had 5 wins on a heavy track from 6 starts and will likely get conditions to suit. He's had 3 starts at Te Rapa for 2 wins and a second. He's drawn wide, which is probably where you want to be late in the day. Plus his main rival, Sacred Satono, is jumping from the 1 barrier. That'll be tough down the inside of the track, so they'll have to do something there. Twain looks like a very, very good bet in race 7 at Te Rapa. Then we head across the ditch, Eagle Farm, race 4, number 6, Without Parallel, $2.60, $1.30. Randwick, race 4, Kerguelen, $5.50 and $2.05. And then Morfettville, race 7, number 10, Flowerdale, $4.60 to win, $1.90 the place.
Oh, I love it. Cheers, Paul. And we will, of course, shove those up on our ACC social, so make sure you're following along there. Let's take another break, and we'll come back with some stats to impress the ladies. Rightio, Paul, take it away.
Stats to impress the ladies? Yeah, here we go. Let's have a look at the Panthers Raiders. And I tell you, the Storm did the Raiders no favours whatsoever last week when they beat Penrith. Penrith have won 18 of their last 22 matches after coming off a loss.
Yeah.
That's a huge stat. They bounce back, and they bounce back really, really quickly. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough old go for the Raiders up at Mudgee this weekend against the Panthers.
Yeah.
Panthers 18-10 against the spread after conceding 20 or more, and they are 21-9 when covering the spread against top 4 teams. Penrith have won and covered the line in 9 of their last 12 against the Raiders. And Canberra, they don't like playing at night. They've won 1 of their last 5 at night. So if you're going to go here, I would suggest you probably back Penrith, and you might want to back them to score a few points as well. I think they could. They'll be very, very angry after losing in Golden Point to the Storm. I think the Raiders might feel their wrath up at Mudgee. So that's where I'd be going. And then, of course, the Titans. Now, if you're a Wars fan, you may want to turn the sound down just a wee bit here because these stats are not pretty at all. Titans have won the last 3 against the Warriors and 6 of the last 7. They won at Mount Smart about 4 weeks ago, and they've won the last 5 at Seabus Super Stadium.
These stats aren't impressing the ladies at the moment, Paul. I've got to be honest, mate. The ladies aren't loving these stats.
These are impressing the ladies on the beach at Broad Beach over on the Gold Coast. Okay, so,
yeah, well said. Yeah, well said.
Yeah. And the last time the Warriors played at Seabus, 66-6.
Okay.
Against the Titans. Okay,
Yeah.
but look, there's only 6 players who are part of that team that will be taking part this weekend. So there's enough sort of fresh blood there to just like put it in the back of their, forget about it.
Different team.
Yes, exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And again, shout out to those ladies across the ditch.
Yes, indeed. Over the last 4 years, home underdogs who are coming off conceding 50 or more cover at 72%. That's another stat that's not very good for the Wars.
No.
However, the Wars have been good across the ditch. They have covered 12 of 19 away from New Zealand.
Yeah, well, that plays into my theory that the Wires enjoy playing over in Australia more than they do in Penrose. So that does make sense to me.
Yeah. So, but look, I don't know how the Warriors are favourites in this game with all of those stats, but they are. So the Warriors have obviously seen something to make the Titans a $2.55 outsider at home.
Jesus,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm backing the Wars here, but I do think this will be a very, very tight game, and it'll come down to maybe a field goal or an error in the last couple of minutes that decides it. So,
well, you hit it here first. To wrap up, stats to impress the ladies. Do you have anything on the Rugby Championship for us, Paul?
Yes. Yeah, this is much better. Yeah, turn the volume back up again.
Oh, there it is.
The All Blacks have scored more than 40 points in 5 of their last 6 games against Argentina. And the All Blacks total in that test is 33.5. So 5 of the last 6 games against Argentina, All Blacks have scored 40 or more. And the line's at 33.5. For the total for the All Blacks. That just looks like a wee bit of a gift for mine. And Artie Severe, I know the teams haven't been named yet. If Artie Severe is named in the starting 15, he scored a try in 4 of his last 6 games against Argentina, including last week.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much. That was a great way to round out stats to impress the ladies. So, fellas, Joe Jury, turn your mic on for this one as well, mate. Of course, we need to submit our TAB Sportsbook 3-way for this week, where we each choose a leg of a 3-way multi and hopefully win after putting $100 bonus cash on that bad boy. Paul, do you want to kick things off this week, mate? Where are you putting your money?
Yeah, once again, Wars fans might want to turn the volume down a wee bit. I'm going to go to the Wars game. I'm going to go to the anytime try scorer market. I'm going to take Philip Sammy to score a try. He scored 6 tries in his last 4 games. And I think the ball will be going out wide quite often. He's paying $2.02 to score a try. So I think he's a fairly good bet. I still hope the Wires score more tries than the Titans. But I think Sammy is a very good bet at $2.02.
Bit of happiness insurance there as well. I respect it. Paul, okay, Joe Jury, what are you thinking, mate?
I know so much about football, Paul. I don't at all. I know nothing. But I was looking at that 3 or 4 boosted option.
Oh, I like it.
And so I've gone for that this week. And I guess it's kind of cheating because the minimum's $1.90?
$1.80, I think, is what we've lowered it to.
so this is $1.57, but like you said, boosted to $2.20, so that fits into the window.
I hate to do this to you, Joe.
Oh, no. Are you going to tell us we can't shove that in a multi?
You can't shove that in a multi. I hate to do it to you, Joe. I'm sorry.
No, that feels only fair to be.
That's brutal.
To be quite honest, as you look for another one, I'm just going to say that I'll shove my leg on the All Blacks to win 13 plus. I feel like I'm not going to overthink this one. They're paying $2.05 at the moment, and I think they will. We'll blow out the RGs by at least 15-20 this weekend.
Like it, Finn.
Well, I'll just keep it in football then, and I will go Chris Wood anytime goal scorer.
Oh, I love it. Boost those odds up, baby. We'll figure out what exactly that's paying and again blast it up on the ACC socials. But for another week, I believe that's us. Paul, thank you very much for helping me wade our way through that one.
Cheers, Finn.
Good on you, bro. Have a good weekend. Take care, eh?
Cheers, lads. See you later.
The ACC Sportsbook, thanks to the TAB.